recording. And we'll just start with review and approval of previous meeting minutes. So I'll write something up because we can get it. Because like in a way, it's already done because everything's on Zoom. So our meeting is posted. Our previous meeting is posted. Just we didn't write a written narrative. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I guess I'll write a written narrative if required. So we didn't send one of those out, but everybody got the March 4th written narrative. So I submitted all of like the last year or two. I submitted all of our meeting minutes to make sure that we had them in one bulk batch, and they went through. So March 4th was missing, and that was a Kathy not here day, and I wrote them and I sent them to everybody. So assuming that everybody's good with the March 4th ones, are we all good with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So those are now approved, and I'll send those to Sherry. So then I guess I'll figure out what's up with the last meeting. Like I said, there is already technically meeting minutes because it's recorded. It's just as far as a written document, we didn't send it to everybody, so we can do that if required. It might not be required. I should I'll ask because literally the whole
Ask
meeting
if you can just write C recording.
That's a good point.
If you can just do that.
Yeah, the old timer in me is like, it doesn't hurt to write down what the key points and takeaways were. So, but
Yeah,
and then Chris, I had sent out May 6th minutes, which I don't know if you guys approved at the June meeting.
I think we did.
Yeah, it was the previous meeting. The previous meeting minutes were approved.
Okay,
so it would
cool.
just be that we can't approve last meeting because we didn't write them.
Got it.
But we recorded them. So the previous meeting ones were approved, and then we just did March 4th. And then for bookkeeping, I'll find out, like Donna, what you said, can I just say, see the recording or I have the agenda and I have the list of things that we did. So it's not really that hard to recreate. It's really just keeping it formal. If that makes sense.
Yeah, just brief.
You are?
I said you can just make them brief. I think it was a brief meeting anyways, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What are the other committees doing?
I don't know. Don't know. But we're not behind by any means. Everything's recorded there, and with this March 4th thing, that gets us basically up to date. And then next time we meet, if we have to pretty up that other thing, we'll do that. All right, so that's that. Other random things, and then I'll go to Kathy. We have a new liaison, and it's Jonathan Shines. And I sent him, he sent me an email. I sent him an email back just saying, hey, welcome aboard, that kind of thing. If you need anything, great. And so that was good. I offered to give him, I asked him if he'd read our report that we submitted. He said he did. And
can you spell his last name?
Chines, Jonathan
Okay.
Shines, town councilor. Okay. And so he's our new liaison. He can't make it tonight, but he said he'll try to make it next time or other times. And he said he's definitely going to watch it. So, wave to Jonathan. Hey!
Hey!
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan. Welcome.
And so, yes, he's going to do that. So he's our new liaison. And I sent him a note just saying, hey, welcome on board, all that stuff. And, told him that he's coming to us at a good time. And, with the stuff that we have going on that we've just done, the stuff that we have planned, some other cool stuff that we have planned. And so we made some progress. And then I told him as well that I wanted him to come see it because, he was there. When he first got on, he came into the building and I pointed to the area where the bathrooms are going to be. And now they're there. And I think that's pretty impressive. And even though there haven't been big tours, I think it's important to say, hey, come on down and let me show you what we did since the last time that we talked. And we're going to do that on Monday.
It's really important to make it very tangible so he gets to see it. Yep, yeah. I agree.
So we're going to do that Monday.
Great.
I think I'm meeting him Monday at 1:00. And then the other thing is the town has, they're putting together like new emails for all the committees and stuff. So I got an email. Just saying that we have a new email account and here's the details of it. And then I got like an email to like our Gmail account saying, make sure you send stuff through town servers. I don't know. I think they're just, they're rolling out emails to all town committees and stuff. It's an idea that we've tossed around for, many years, back in the day of doing that. And I know that they're trying to tighten things up a little bit more. So they created us an email. They sent it to us. I think they all come to me and I've got the thing for it. So, that's okay. So we've got a new email. And then I think they sent it to me too, saying, "Oh, don't use the Gmail," or something like that. But anyways, we got our email, we've got our stuff, and that's been sent to us. So we've got that. Everyone's got that. We've got a new liaison. He's been notified. He's going to come and hang out with us. We did our previous meeting minutes. So that's pretty much it. And that brings us, unless somebody's got any questions, that brings us to item number 2, which is Kathy and the update on accounting and communications audit, which, when you got to think about this, Kathy, like Joy's not here tonight. So, typically the person that's not there gets assigned a job. That's how you got that job, right? It's a joke. It's a joke.
No comment.
Laughs across the board. If
No comment.
An assignment.
No comment. All right. So would you like an update?
It's all you.
Well, I'm not prepared. So let me think about this for a second. So did I send an email recapping? I think I had. So hang on, let me go find that.
I got it, but I don't know if it was a committee-wide one. I think it might have just been the people that have been working on it, like,
Yep.
more like a subcommittee kind of grouping.
Okay, so yes, so I met with Steve. I reached out to Steve, and there had been a number of people that were actually on the original communication from you, Chris, including some town council people and people whose names I did not recognize. And I felt like in order to be able to pursue the conversation around what's the word I'm looking for? Transparency into building invoices, and particularly the $26,000 heating bill, and to also talk about moving forward with additional projects that we would be undertaking. How did we ensure a more streamlined communication process with the town for those big projects, and then also to ensure that from a invoicing review perspective, what kind of controls could we put into place? So I thought it would be easier for me to just reach out to Steve and say, Steve, so who all are the best people to have in that conversation? And he suggested someone from his office whose name is escaping me. I think his name was Kevin, and I, so along with Steve. So it turns out it was just Steve and I. And Steve out of the gate admitted that he felt like it was his fault that he had not handled the $26,000 heating bill review process as appropriately as he could have. He apologized sincerely for that and felt that going forward, absolutely, we should have more communication around invoice reviews. We also talked about having someone from the DPW or another town area become probably maybe a member of the committee, but at least more heavily involved in future projects, so that we could also streamline that communications process. So the way that we left it was Steve agreed that the $26,000 heating bill should not have gone against the ACE committee funds, and that it should have come from some other kind of maintenance and support or other area within the town. He did say that trying to do a credit can be extremely difficult, but he was very comfortable that when we start moving forward with our backdoor initiative, that and we know that the cost for that is going to be at least $26,000, that we should work with whoever that town representative would be, and with him when we start to get the invoices, and that the $26,000 cost coming out of that project would be handled by another area within the town from a probably like a maintenance and support budget, as a way to reimburse us the 26 grand that was taken from our account. So let me stop there and see if anybody has any questions. Okay.
Good.
So Steve put that into writing. He also is checking on the name of the person. Just give me a second here. Ann Waite, W-A-I-T-T. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is part of the town DPW group, and he thinks that she'd be a great person to become more involved or / on the committee, and we can all figure that out down the road. But she has been on vacation, or her boss has been on vacation, or maybe both, and so that actually hasn't been committed yet. But that would be someone that we could be working with more closely going forward. So I think that was the charge, was to address those topics, and we met and had a good, healthy conversation. And any questions from anyone?
I just think I'll say that it's 26-4 something that's detailed in the email.
Okay.
And then I think the other thing is, really what we didn't have and what sort of the failure was on the last one was that we didn't, they weren't effectively project managing it because, I did all the PMing, but there was no real DPW project manager. We had the buildings person who wasn't really a business person, it's more of a construction, hands-on kind of person. And they didn't really PM it at all. And so I think this person, I know they've got the new DPW transition. They're going to figure it out. So I think this person has a title kind of like a project manager. I know they had a business manager at one point, and I know that they're retooling it. So I think that they may have like a couple assistant DPW directors. And I think they used to call this person like the business operations manager or something, and that position didn't exist. And that's sort of how this happened. So I think this Ann person it sounds like the suggestion and the discussions we had is she's going to basically be our DPW liaison / project manager.
Okay.
Right?
So I don't know that I got as specific about project manager,
Yeah.
but certainly liaison. And if we feel like we need a project manager, we certainly can bring that up with her.
Yeah.
I don't know that I got into that level of detail. It was more about ensuring communications and transparency. So I may have missed the boat on that, Chris. I wasn't aware that that was the intent, was to ask for a PM. So I did not.
Either way, I mean, if she's a liaison, titles aren't important. It's just that, hey, we're getting our 26-4, whatever it is, back. Hey, there's going to be a point person who's a new point person, who's this person, most likely to just control the flow of, last time everything flew through and somehow got approved, and the next time it'll be this person. It'll be our more, it sounds like, hands-on intermediary, which I think is a good thing.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think the goals of that were definitely successful. You did a great job going in. I mean, the real kill was we needed the money back, and then the rest of it's great. And we get this person as a liaison, and that's great. As far as a committee member, I think the technical way they do, she'd be a liaison since she's an employee, which is fine. And then, committee members get appointed, during that window because they're trying, much like the email that they sent me and like our liaisons, like committee members only get added now. They used to get added whenever, but now they only get added like in January, February, March, April, like March or April, like during that 2-month window where they do all the committee appointments and whatever. It's a semantic. Basically, she'll be our liaison if she's a committee member. Our committee is wide open. We don't have like a capped number of committee people, so it's not like, so if someone applied, pretty much they're going to get on, because it's not like we're going to be like, oh, we only have 7 members and 8 applied. We're never going to end up in that situation at this point. But yeah, so having a liaison is a great thing. And if that liaison is also a committee member, that would, by structure happen next year. But I don't think it matters either way.
Yep.
I think if we had a ton of more committee members, that would be great. More voices for inclusion in various levels of perspective.
Yep.
So, all right, cool. So we've got the money back. I think sort of where that leads to in the next couple items that I have here, and I sort of put them in items number 3 and 4. I put your item first because then 3 and 4 become dependent on that. We need to move forward the bathroom stuff for this next push, which I did everything last time. So I'm thinking that, with this liaison and everything, we sort of move forward in the same sort of way of, our package for everything that we need for this bid is done. We've got the architect stuff, we got the pricing stuff, we got all that stuff. The DPW just needs to put it into that format that gets it into the bid package and hand it around their team so that everything, that they're happy with. And usually that means they put it into a thing and then they come back with, a couple more questions and maybe we have to go to the architect or something like that. And then once their questions are answered, it then goes out to bid, and then that's like that 90-day window. So we're trying to get our documents, which have existed now for several months, into whoever the liaison's hands are, into creating the bid thing so that we get, an email that says, the faster the better, but that we get an email that says that it is out to bid, and that we're just waiting for them to come in. We priced it, so it's going to be around 50 grand is our expectation. So the question is, what's the next step in moving forward with this liaison person? Kathy, is this you following up with an email saying, okay, we're ready to move forward on that, and here's all our documents to get the bid ready? Is that, where we think we're going?
Let's see.
So we've got all our documents and everything ready to go. The DPW needs to put the bid package together. We need to move the documents and the discussion to the DPW to get that bid package together. And so since we've established there's going to be a liaison, I think that's a continuation of the conversation of, okay, hey, Steve, hey, whoever, we're ready to move on. Here's all our stuff. So we just need to make sure that that liaison's in place and, and getting our bid and has our bid on their list of items to do and has all the documents. Because, the documents are available, but we need to hand it. Hey, liaison, are you in place? Great. Here's the documents. Here's the next thing we need to do. And then what's the turnaround time? Because there's nothing more for us as a committee or for our architects or anybody to do until the DPW asks us a question.
Yep. Well, I think we need to meet who our liaison is, and I think we need some conversation around expectations, because, like I said, I talked about a liaison, but I didn't get to the level of detail or expectation I think that you had, which was, about being able to pass this over to the liaison to be able to move forward with that. So I don't know what's been communicated to this person. So I really think we need to, get together, meet with them, and have some kind of conversation around what that is. But before we could even do that, I need Steve to come back and say that yes, he's talked to his DPW manager, and yes, that Ann, will be able to do that. So I will send Steve an email that says, we're eager to meet our liaison. Can you please confirm, especially as we'd like to start moving forward with the rear entrance project, and just leave it at that and see what he comes back with.
Okay. Yeah. And can we, because how it is with reminders and stuff like that, we tend to lose weeks. What's our expectation or goal for, waiting for a response on that? So send it out sometime this week, hopefully have some sort of answer next week. Because there's vacations and stuff like that.
Yep, exactly.
So we'll leave that. Is that a me sends an email or is that a you?
No, I'm sending the email.
Good.
I'll send the email. Yep. No, I said that. Yep. I'll do it. Yep.
And we'll try to see if we can, get them moving in the next, say, 2 weeks with whatever it is. Yeah. I think that's numbers 3 and 4, right? All right. So included in that, whoever the liaison is, we'll have to just include a thing of like, hey, we got to finish the tile on our first project, whatever that, that little blip of tile that we need done. Whoever the liaison is, that'll be sort of one of the first things. And that should only be like a short deal of, hey, you're our liaison, great. By the way, this little tile thing needs to be fixed, and they should be able to get that done, I would think. Does everybody agree with that? Doug, you think that makes sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's numbers 3 and 4, I think, right?
All right, I'm sorry, I was typing and so I missed number 3. So number 3 is, okay, just waiting on the new DPW liaison to finish the tile and close out.
Yep.
Okay.
And then 4 is getting a new discussion there, and we've done everything we can do. We just need to have that thing. All right. All right, that's a whole bunch. Anybody, anything else on that before I go to number 5, which is totally new topic? All right, number 5, and I sent this out to people, and I'm hoping you got it.
Yep.
I met with Bob Sardella and had him come down and take a look at the signage in the spirit of, I think we're at the time for this. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows we needed all these other steps to happen, and we're finally at that point. And as I look at this and I say, all right, what do I do to help move the team forward? I look at this and I say, okay, all this other stuff like that we just talked about, that was the last thing that I had to put my paws on to get going. So what's the next visionary thing to get us to where we need to go? And it seemed right that we're at a time for our signs. So I took Bob, since he's the local guy and it's not a super heavy expense, or I don't expect it to be a super heavy expense. Brought him in and showed him around, asked him to get some opinions. Found there's a couple of interesting reasons why his bid will most likely be very interesting to us. However, whatever it might be. And, one is he used to be the sign guy in Wakefield, so he's very familiar with the rules.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, he was the sign enforcer guy. And so he knows the rules and he knows where, whatever. And then another fun fact that I found out when I had him there was he did the last sign on the building for the light department. So we were out there and I said, I think there was a sign up there. And he goes, yeah. And then he started saying, I put in, and he told me the whole story of how he did it last time and why the little wire was there. So he knew all the history. He knew all the bits and pieces. And he'd never been in the building up and down. He'd never done a bunch of the other things, but he knew why the wires were where they were. He knew what the other sign was. He had an idea on that. So he did that, and he put together a thing. And I could almost maybe bring it up on the screen. Did people get a chance to look at it and want to talk about it?
Yes, yeah.
It kind of looks vaguely familiar as to what's over the back of Doug's head.
Yeah.
So it's close.
I'm wondering, Doug, do you have it up where we can just
Yeah, you want me
throw
to
it
share
on
my
the screen?
screen?
Yeah, I don't have enough.
Oh, host disabled participant screen sharing. You'd have to re-enable that.
All right. I don't have a problem.
I think he has
with
to
doing
first find it.
that. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that, but manage participants, window, meeting, keep enter, gallery, mute, start share. Preferences. All right. So what did it say that? Screen share?
Yeah, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
All right, share screen, side-by-side scale, maximize, enter, side-by-side, virtual background, recording, sticks.
Sounds like it's all just settings for your display.
FaceTime, always turn on display, mirror, enable, my video, meetings, enter full screen, copy. Share screen. Enter full screen, scale to fit, side by side, silence, virtual background. Oh, that's where you got your thing.
There must be something in the settings for the particular meeting.
I'm wondering if that's a town settings kind of thing.
All
right. Well,
You're
everyone.
the host, though, right?
I printed it out. I can hold it up.
There it is.
Yeah, no, I've
Old
seen
school,
it. I've
right?
seen it online. Oh, you're too funny.
That works. Yeah, I don't know where to get this. It might be there, but so people have looked at it. So I mean, I don't know, how do we want to do it?
Yeah.
Do we want to just give everyone a turn to say what they think about it?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, Donna, since you printed it out and showed it first, what do you think of it?
Well, it's I think it's great, like where it is and what it looks like. I assume just because it's the picture he sort of plunked on the photograph, it looks so white and weird. So the actual sign itself, I'm sure, would be a little bit different coloring, and I would assume, you know what I mean? This just looks like the wrong color somehow.
Yeah,
But it may be because the photograph is a softer color than the starkness of the sign.
It clearly looks like a photo image pasted.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
yep, I agree.
Okay. My comment on that is I think that, that's what it is. So I think what he's trying to show there is just the idea of
the placement.
Yeah, it would be a side bracket sign. It wouldn't be flat on the building. In this proposal, and this is what he's looking for feedback, because we were there and I was like, all right, well, this is just the initial beat up, and so, it's a side bracket sign, and the idea is that when you turn on to Albion Street or you're going down Albion Street, nobody's going to actually look at the building. They're going to only see the ones that are pulling out into the street. And that's the way that the light department sign used to be. And that's within the sign regulations, is to have it coming off the building out into the street. So when someone comes around and you say, go to 9 Albion Street, the Albion Cultural Exchange, they'll turn onto that thing and they'll look up and they'll basically see our logo on some sort of outward facing thing. And, and so I think that's like, hey, does everybody like that? Is that, that's like one of the first things is everybody cool with that? I like that. I don't know that there'd be people that don't like that, but maybe if there were people that don't like that, they'd say, hey, we want one on the building. My preference is I like the idea of having it like that because I think it makes it seen by the traffic.
I agree.
And
Yep,
so,
I agree.
I think really we'd be looking to find out, does it offend anybody?
Yeah, I don't think so.
And is that
Yeah,
the type of sign?
So
Yeah.
my couple comments are, I'm not as concerned about the fact that the starkness of the whiteness of the sign somehow looks a little odd there in the photograph, but I think that's just because it's a photographic rendering. I like the shape of the sign. It looks proportional. What's important to me is that the physical size and shape of the sign is somehow the appropriate proportion
Yes.
with the rest of the building, particularly, I don't want it too small, but I don't want it too huge either. So it looks like that's an appropriate size. Did he tell you size actually? I don't know if I saw
No.
anything. Okay. So yes, conceptually, I like the fact that it's perpendicular to the building. I like what it says. I like where it's located. I just want to make sure that proportionally it works and it fits. And I don't know how to get that comfort that the proportion will be appropriate.
Right.
The other thing that was interesting was I liked the sign just the way it was. And it was interesting, Chris, to hear you say, when someone's looking for 9 Albion, well, we have 9 on the door or above the door. I don't think we need it to say 9 Albion on that sign, like below where ideas happen.
Yeah.
But I throw that out there only just because when you said it, I was like, do we need an address? I don't know. What do people think?
It wouldn't hurt.
I mean, it could be on the bottom,
Yep.
Yeah, because
it's
you know what,
definitely
you're right.
Yeah, but then again, is there only need that address because they're looking for the cultural exchange. So if they see cultural exchange, then they're already
That might
there.
be sufficient. Yep. I don't really have a strong preference.
Is there a 9 on the door? There doesn't look like there's a 9. Is there a 9
Oh,
somewhere?
there is a 9. It's right. Where the heck is it? There
gold.
is.
It's gold, isn't it?
It's somewhere. I can't.
It
blow
must
up.
be. The other thing I wanted to say about it, I like the way, because of it's exactly the shape on the logo, it picks up that keystone and the arch. So to me, it really pulls that whole theme together very well.
Yeah.
I agree.
And if you look at the one that you look down the street,
I have a
you can see
suggestion.
that it looks like it's about the same size as the one that's a few buildings down.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wonder what the height. I mean, I know sign guys have this, but I wonder what determines the height.
I'd
Yeah,
say,
I
like you
looks
say,
like it's
some
right.
kind of regulation.
Right.
The other thought that I had was for the few situations where you do have people walking around who maybe aren't paying attention, particularly, or the flat side of the sign that is parallel to the building, that blank edge, doesn't say anything on it. And so I didn't know if we could put ACE on it, but maybe that's where we put 9 Albion.
The flat side.
So in your top picture, you sent 3 pictures. You sent a front view, you sent front view, and then there's the side view, which is the skinny side of it,
Oh,
the
right.
sign itself on that top page.
That's looking straight on.
Right.
looking straight on. Maybe that says 9 Albion or ACE in big, 3 big capital letters. It looked a little blank to me, but again, actually I do feel strongly that something maybe should be there, but maybe that's where it says 9 Albion or something.
Could it look like the back sign? Isn't that ACE? The back door sign is going to have just ACE on it? Maybe
I think that's as yet to be determined, depending on how that comes out in the bid. I mean, in the rendering for the back, it has that, but that's just a rendering. So when the back thing comes together, we'd have to it'll be specified. I think, things that a question I have is, because I saw the thing is there light on the sign?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is I assume that because he talked about the wires there, that there's going to be at least the ability to have a way to light it up.
Well, there's a street light right there, though.
What about the other side?
Oh, picky.
Well, people walking down the street, they're
right,
coming
the other way, right.
Very good question.
I think before the sign used to light up. Like it was like, I don't know if it was neon or it was something. And so, I think it said, we have a picture of it somewhere. It said, Wakefield at WMGLD, and I think you turned it on and it was like blue. And I think the sign like turned on, the sign turned on versus being lit. But I think it's a very valid question for, for a first pass of what are the lighting options? We know there's electricity there already.
Yep. What's the cost factor? Yep.
And what does it look like under a street light? That's a good question. What does it look like at night? Does it need a light? Because it is under a street light.
Yeah,
like I said, I just want to make sure both sides are lit, because people are parking down the other end and walking. Then.
Mm-hmm.
And does the street light make a shadow at all? What does it look like at night? Like you don't really know. Like the street light might not make a shadow, but maybe it does. Maybe the street light makes a little, shadow the width of it or something or whatever. But
I don't know. The shadow would be problematic, but I think not being able to have it lit on the far side of the sign. I agree, Doug. That's something we should definitely ask him for some pricing options. What's the size of the sign, lighting?
The light on it, but yeah, okay.
How do you guys feel about that side view having something on it?
I like that idea.
I don't know if it'll. I'm going to ask him what he thinks of it.
Depends how wide it is, huh?
Well, as long as it depends on how wide it is, and as long as it doesn't mess up the primary view. I don't know what it would look like if it
I'm not sure exactly where you're talking now.
So
the third picture down.
This one.
Right?
Nope, first picture, top picture.
This one.
Okay.
Nope,
no,
not even that. Not
right?
even that one.
This one with the little.
In the attachment, in the attachment that he sent, there were 3 pages. And can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
See where I'm pointing to the side view?
Oh, I think that's going to be, well.
I don't know. I don't know how big it is.
But this is how it looks from a distance.
Right.
Right.
So
I don't think that's going to be wide enough to be readable there. I mean, we can see.
I'll ask him.
Yeah.
I think all the questions are valid. Hey, is that a surface that could have something, or would it just not work? And if it is, a possibility, all right, what are the options?
Yep, there you go. But I love the logo. I love the simplicity.
I do. I like it too.
The tie-in. The whole thing looks great.
it does. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And I even like the fact that the sign, the side of the sign is out from the side of the building. You know what I mean? Like you can really see it. You don't lose any of the sign. The sign sort of stands on its own, which it just looks nice.
No, we talked about the flag. No, not the flagpole.
Who was that?
I don't know. Did
No
we
idea
just
what
get,
Do we just get hacked?
yeah,
Joe, oh, there he is.
no,
Do we know this person?
wrong meeting?
I don't know.
Joe Tavano.
I don't know.
Hi, Joe.
I mean, it's available for anybody that wants to be on there, so it's okay. If somebody's watching. And they're off. It is a public meeting, so people can, I believe,
Right.
attend it via Zoom. But you know, we don't necessarily need to address a member of the public. I think they get. Well, actually, I don't know. Either way, Joe, if you come back, hope you enjoy. My question, I have a question about. You know, we lose a flagpole every year to windstorms. So, you know, I have a question of during the spring windstorms, which generally eat our flagpole, and then around like usually right before Memorial Day, I buy and expense a new flag because the one from the year before got mangled, and it's either gets mangled in like the fall or the winter or in the early spring storms. And you know, the flag gets found down the street on Albion Street, and you know, it just happened every year. It's sort of like that, and sort of like we go through a couple of the banners. You know, how will that hold up to the wind? I'm assuming it'll hold up, you know, that he thinks of these things, but that's a question that I'll, you know, follow up with him.
Yeah, I mean, the flag is different because it's waving, and so you know, the wind is going to amplify the movement there, whereas something like this, I would think would be a little bit more structurally sound.
Well, and it's got double brackets, and
yeah.
Now it's gonna be like white, right? So it's gonna be like a full piece. So it's not gonna have like holes in it where the arch is. It's not gonna be like an arch design where you can blow through. It's gonna be a flat. It's gonna be a whole piece. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Okay, I'll just ask him just to satiate my curiosity of just, you know, what's the wind deal? What about materials? Do you like the materials, or I mean, I don't even know if it says the materials.
I don't even know what the materials are.
I
Does he
don't-
even say?
He doesn't say.
He just says constructed with internal structural frame and attached bracket.
Right.
Graphics are shown as raised attachments. Alternative method of carved graphics is an option. So that's, you know, that's, I guess maybe.
So we probably need to see examples of what that means.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's definitely a lot of white. I don't, you know, it might be interesting to see some color for some of it. I mean, the only color we have are really on the letters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that matters, but.
So I have down as the white background, too white. Because what happens on like the Welcome to Wakefield sign is it's got a white background, and that actually has carved letters on it. But the white background gets beat up sometimes, and it needs to be clean. So sometimes when you take pictures and stuff, the white background isn't as nice as it was when it was new. I don't know how to say that. The white background gets beat up. So I have down here, like, is the white background too white?
Yep, that's a good starting place.
But it may be a material that's, if it's not wood, painted wood, which I think the other sign you're talking about is.
Yeah.
It
actually some sort of fake wood. It's not wood.
Yeah, but maybe this material is more of, you know, resistant to weathering.
Right. I think getting back to him though, you know, everyone's pretty much in agreement that that's the type of sign that we'd want.
Yeah, I like the shape.
Yes,
I like, you know, the design.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, ultimately coming back to him as he gives it to us, we look at it like if everybody was like, oh my God, no way, we need it on the building. You know, that was my imitation of everybody, by the way.
I mean, it doesn't seem like having it on the building would be that you'd need that kind of sign. If you were going to just put the name on the building, you could put it right over the door in that space. You know, it seems like a sign wouldn't look right flat on the building. There's sort of no place for it.
I agree. I think this meets all the metrics. So I think getting back to him, that's one of the things he's going to want to hear is, yeah, we want to move forward. We want to move forward with the design that is bracketed like that. Yes. And then,
Yes.
then the questions I have, which are, what's the weathering? Is it too white? I'm going to ask what the carved options are. We're going to ask whether we should put the word 9 Albion on the sign. I'll ask what determines the height and what the height is. And then I'm going to ask what's the lighting situation. And that's all the questions I have.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay.
Um,
When
there
could
any-
he do it? How long? I mean, how long would it take to get it done?
That's a good question.
I'll
You
put
know,
that
are
up
they
quick.
backed up, or
Um,
just so we know to budget the money and when and all that kind of thing?
Did he give you any sense of preliminary costs at all, Chris?
no.
Okay.
I think this was just he got the view. I gave him a full tour of the building. I told him that, there's probably some other signage needs once we figure that out. We looked at the bathrooms, the interior, and just different things. And he said, yeah, we can do some supplemental stuff at that point, but he hadn't been in the building. He gets the whole idea. And again, this was just a, hey, what do you think of that? And okay, now we can
Right.
move forward, because if we didn't like that idea, any more detail on that would have been too much. But lead time and installation and lighting, I think these are all good questions and the right questions. Anything else on that? Wow, I'm in the dark now. Hang on, let me turn the lights. There we go. A little bit better. Now what happens is I've got two windows, so what do you call it? When the light's still on, it gets blasted out by my windows, but not now. Okay. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. So I'll move that forward with Bob and see what the next step is. Is there any more comments on that?
Nope.
Nope, looks great.
Yep,
All right, number
thank you.
6. Picture hanger installation. Much thanks to Doug for getting that done. So our most recent, which is likely our last, but we might buy more, strip of hanging system stuff was hung on the back of the bathrooms. Doug got that hung up a couple weeks ago. It looks good.
Yeah, it
And,
does.
Just need
So
something
that-
to hang on it now.
Yeah. And that brings us.
And to have an event.
That's number 6, which brings us into number 7 of, discussing future events and what we want to do. I think at this point, I don't think we can schedule a public event. That's still illegal. But I think with all of our art stuff, I think we should, fill the walls and get some stuff up and talk about what's going to fill the walls. And then further on that detail, once we figure out what's going to fill the walls, giving the opportunity for people to come see it. I mean, at this point, it should look like an art center at this point when you walk in there. We've got all the hangers, the bathrooms are in there. It shouldn't look like a VFW hall or something like that, which is what it used to look like. You break it down, it's set up, it's broken down, it's set up, it's broken down. We're at the point where we have enough house art and we've got all our hangers there that when you walk in there, even when we don't have an event, it should look like an art center. Like there should be stuff up on there. At least that's my opinion. It should look like an art center now that we have all that stuff. So, I'd like to see us get stuff up on there, even if it's just house art, and schedule something. And, the question becomes, do we schedule something with the community? Do we schedule something with somebody else? Once stuff is up, then we could do virtual visits, or we could do, I'm sure we could work out a deal where we could have scheduled visits of, say, groups of 5 people or something like that. Hey, we're going to have a show and the whole place is going to be set up. And then we could give people different times to come and see what's going on. Worst case scenario, if for some reason there's some big flare up, it becomes a virtual thing where we set up the facility and then literally we go in and we take pictures of the place being set up. But I think that we could probably, if we figure out what we're going to have to set it up, and then figure out a way to get people in there, announce and just, start operating like an art center again, stop being closed. really. This is what it comes down to. We need to, so I don't know if anybody has any ideas of what we could do just as a preliminary, like we've got three strips of this hanging system. What can we hang up, and does anybody have any ideas on what we can hang up, and or if we need to solicit stuff to hang up, and then again having virtual, not either virtual showings or scheduled showings. It won't be an event like it was in the past where we're like, come at Thursday between 5 and 7. It's going to be more like, we have this display up for the month of such and such, and on these certain days, we're going to have times where people can come in, sign up for a slot if you want to come in person.
And can we do that? Can we actually let people in the building that way and operate that way in the town at this point?
I think the deal is that we would need to have a plan. And I mean, I think it's totally reasonable, but we need to have a plan. We need to have an idea of what we're hanging up.
Yeah.
You also have to have a plan for cleaning the place too.
Absolutely. That's right where I was going to head, Doug.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem
thinking,
right now. Somebody goes
Right.
into the bathroom or whatever, and they touch anything.
Right. And if somebody doesn't want to wear a mask, and I mean, all the other things you have to deal with.
Well, I'm not even talking about having anybody else in the building. I'm just talking about it. The place needs to be cleaned, first of all, I think.
Oh,
prior to, and I think we need to, if we're going to work towards having it become something that we want people to come in, I think we need to not just think about the art on the walls. I think we need to think about what's in the foyer, what do we want out, what's in that gift room, how do that gift shop, how do we clean that up, where are we going to put storage. I think there's sort of a I think we need a plan to sort of get the building to sort of square one, so that we can then say, okay, and as part of that, we can take an assessment of what really do we have for art in that building. I know there's a bunch of stuff, but is it what we'd want to show? Maybe in the interim, until we figure out what our plan is, maybe we just use that one wall against the bathroom and hang, I don't know, 4 or 5 items on it, so at least it looks better. But I was in the building the other day, I was dropping something off, and I was just like, oh my God, this place just needs to be cleaned and organized, because it's dirty. So that's for me, that's item 0. But that's just my opinion. And then I hadn't even thought about, you're right, if we have people come in the building, what are the cleaning, what do we have to do from a cleaning perspective? Do we have to work with the town for the town to come in and clean before and after those events? I don't know. I don't know what that is all going to entail. And I really want to go strict by the guidelines with whatever the town is going to advise on that.
And I would imagine you'd have to clean after every single time that people come in. So,
Right.
If you have just 5 people coming in for, a half hour or whatever, and then the next hour, some more people come in, you've got to clean beforehand. I
Right.
mean, you can't just let that go. So I think it's going to be I don't think this is the best time to be trying to open again. Maybe we can post some pictures and whatnot and post them online of, hey, this is how things are coming along. But I would think it's going to be a lot of work to try and get it open for people to be in that space. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what the town says. But
What would I think ultimately we need to figure out how we want to come up with a plan. I don't think the town's going to say, you're going to find answers with the town. You're just going to find more questions. If we have an intent and we have people that, want to put time into an intent to do something, it's more like, hey, here's what we think would be reasonable. What do we need to do to be compliant with whatever your regulations are? But if we don't, I mean, we can't just go to them and be like, what's your plan for us?
No, but we could ask, what are the regulations?
Right.
I think that's
for
exactly
public
what we're looking
events in
for.
Wakefield, right?
Yes.
So what are
The Board of Health would probably be
Yeah, I think it's going to take us a couple meetings to walk our way through this. I'd also like Joy to be part of the conversation because I think she's also, creative when it comes to thinking about other avenues and, virtual and art mediums and mechanisms and what's virtual and what's working. I think she's an important part of the conversation.
I agree. What would be, aside from just putting it on the agenda for the next meeting, what would be an effective way to create momentum towards that?
I would like to know, and I think taking your idea, Chris, of if we decided to do a virtual tour with, so that would mean that whoever's going to go in and, do the filming, and are there any rules or guidelines or expectations for that person or a several group of people going in there and doing that? Are there any expectations or limitations on what they can and can't do in that public building? And then B, just like what you suggested, Chris, if we were to open up the space for small, manageable, invitee, viewings, again, what would be the expectations around building usage and, cleaning, et cetera. So I think we already have two scenarios that could go back to the town to ask them what they think their mandates are about our ability to do either one of those. Now, we may or may not do either one of those, but at least we give them something that we can ask them about.
Okay, so I got small manageable groups as one,
Yeah.
right? And then what was the other one?
The other one, I don't know what you guys think, but if we wanted to do something virtual, we have to have someone go set the stuff up, someone or someone's plural. Again, a small group of committee or related people versus the public, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Going in and, setting up the space and then doing, what I assume for virtual, you got to do some kind of recording. And what are the expectations and limitations around both of those groups of people, sort of committee related versus the public?
Should virtual offering? Do you think I should, or maybe this is something that on Monday when I have Jonathan come in and introduce him to the place, is this something that I should give him the ball on and say, hey, we need to start having the dialogue of what our deal is with people coming in?
That's a good
I think he's probably pretty plugged into what is and isn't happening in the town and in town buildings. So that's a great place to start that conversation. And he may even know the person in the town for us to pursue the dialogue with.
Well, and he could lead the dialogue.
Yep.
I mean, because like right now, I think, we're involved with, you're going to send the email regarding the other construction project. I just sent it. Okay. I'm working with the sign guy to get more sign data, which is enough for me. And then when I talk to him on Monday, I can have him get a sense of rules. So we can have sort of three ships going at the same time. He could be working on what the rules are for access. I can be working on sign. You can be working on a group of people that are working on the back door. And those three things can be going on all at the same time without one person being stretched on all of them. Yep. Right?
Agreed. Yep.
Did I give that a good expression? Can you see it? Right? Okay. Okay. I think that's cool. That's the right stuff that we need. So, all right, we did number 6, picture hanger. Number 7, discuss event, future events, virtual walkthroughs. We just did that. Number 8, upcoming programming. That's the same thing, basically. Number 9 is the Facebook Live thing. We'll see what goes on there. I've given her a bunch of times to do a Facebook Live, share our channel kind of thing. It hasn't come together yet. I'm gonna let that fall off the agenda for now. I've gone through and had the conversation a bunch of times, and she can definitely do events and get stuff going, and she's doing her own events. We don't have our events going yet. I was hoping it would be a fairly short and simple conversation of, hey, the next time that you do some of these live things, just we'll broadcast it as well. I've communicated that a bunch of times. It's just not happening. I mean, the shows are
I'm sorry. Who is this Facebook Live Sparkled at the Heart? It's just
Sparkled at the
someone
Heart.
who reached out to us.
It's
Okay.
it's a woman who I know who does wreath making, and she does Facebook
Okay.
Live, and she
So
does.
really, there's no progress on this, right? No progress.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was that she was doing a bunch of content, and I said, hey, if you want to broadcast on our, channel / page at the same time to reach more people, you could do that. And there's some technical stuff that you need to do that. As far as I'm concerned, the technical stuff is set up, and I've followed up on it enough times that I'm not going to keep following up on it for now.
Sure, makes total sense.
There's definitely, when we start having programs, she can definitely do a good program. The Facebook Lives, they can definitely be done. Donna can attest to the fact that there's lots of presenters doing Facebook Live stuff for fees at this point. I wasn't ordering a specific program. I just sort of said, hey, I saw that all this content was going on, and we wanted to increase our, stay as sort of the purveyors of, the arts and culture, Heartbeat and Wakefield or whatever, and I wanted to be able to offer something. It looked like a really simple solution to offer something that was of value without much hassle, but I followed up on it now too many, enough times that I'm not going to continue.
Yep. No,
Chris,
that's
you know,
good.
sorry, Chris, she's doing the garden club in December,
Right, and that's totally
So-
separate. But
but
that's,
maybe it could be together.
you mean broadcast it at this? Okay, so
Something for you to
went
think
for
about.
December? That went for December? I thought you guys had moved it to
No, it's
February.
December 10th.
Okay.
So just
All right,
it's just a possibility to think about, because you'd have to figure it out.
You
Well,
guys
that
have
one-
me
that
for
one-
about
that
10 more
December 10th
minutes.
one's gonna be live. What?
Okay.
I need to go eat dinner. I haven't eaten
Okay.
dinner yet today.
We'll be
I'm
fast.
tired. 14 conference calls today. I'm played.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, December 10th. I'll talk to you more about that, Donna. What do you call it? The details. We'll go fast so Kathy can eat. Post-bathroom construction, we don't really have anything on that until we find out the answers to how we can use the building.
Yeah.
Video, Doug and I got hard drives, and Doug got the data onto the hard drive. So we've got that high school kid who hopefully will be able to do something. We've got it on a hard drive. I got the hard drive. Doug has the backup hard drive, and I just need to hand him that and see if anything comes together with that. So we made progress in that. We ordered 2 hard drives. They showed up. They've been populated. We're going to see if we can move that forward. Nothing to report otherwise. And then unanticipated topics, and we're out. Does anybody have any unanticipated or non-talked about topics that they would like?
Actually, I have one. A friend of mine offered me a rolling coat stand, which I was like, oh, really? But then when I saw it, it was in good shape. It looks like it's brand new. And so I did accept it, and it's in the building, and at some point I will go down and set it up, but it was like 99 degrees when I was in the building, when I dropped it off the other day. So,
Okay.
but I took it because I really felt like it was something that when we open back up, it is something that we could use. It was sturdy. It was in good shape. So I did take it.
Coat room, right? That's basically the rack for a coat room.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
could go in the back room. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
And on that same thing, I got us another vacuum. There's someone giving away a vacuum on one of the community groups. And so.
What do we have, like 5 now?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the land of the dead vacuums. Well, they don't always all work, right?
Let's
I mean, they
throw
have
away
mines.
the ones that don't work. Let's just get them out.
Throw away. I don't know which ones work and which ones don't work. I'm in charge of bringing in new ones because everyone tells me they're always broken. So I brought in one more one. Feel free to throw out anything that's broken. What else?
Maybe Doug, when I'm doing nothing some weekend, I'll call you up and we can go down to the building and we can plug those vacuums in and clear out that room or something. I don't know, whatever.
Maybe
We'll
we can have-
tackle it.
Okay.
Maybe we can have a vacuum race. See what goes on. All right, that's it. Any other unanticipated topics? Donna, you got anything? Doug, Kathy?
Actually, so I have, now that I think about it, my wife has some of those slat wall display things, that spin, I
Yeah.
don't know. Are we interested in that?
I don't know what that is. I can't visualize.
It's like a store display. It's kind of like a skinny tower, and you can attach all these hooks to it, and you can spin it around. It's wood, fake wood looking.
So used to display, like, do you tuck cards in it, or do you hang jewelry from it,
You can actually hang anything from it because it's just they're just slats, and the hooks fit into those slats. So you can put anything on those hooks.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about.
If it's a no-crossed, smallish device that we have space for, I can't see a reason to refuse it.
Yeah,
I'll
but
send out a picture.
yeah, send a picture, because you know what, I don't. We really need a specific need for it.
I mean, they're good for shows, but
again, this is where I get a little worried about us taking and storing too many pieces of equipment.
we can bring it up
if
and
we-
down on the elevator.
Oh. You're a funny guy.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
you send a picture?
Sure.
But I bet there's, well, I guess I was just going to say there are people out there that would want them, but nowadays there's such limited foot traffic and events where people go and actually now display things that
Right.
it's becoming harder. So it might be harder to get rid of those kinds of things. Though, where did I just see? I thought I saw the Melrose Art Community is doing a public art show at some point in the near future in a parking lot somewhere. Did anybody else see that?
No.
Sounds
Yes,
cool.
I did actually.
But I don't remember where I saw it.
I might have been the Free Press. I'm not sure, but now that you mention it,
Yeah. So, that's a
like
good
4 or
sign
5. Yeah.
that someone's actually starting to do some of those kinds of things outdoors. And I know, for example, and actually, oh, you know what? I did want to bring this up. I think there's been talk of the item woman who usually does she does a fall show in October. And I think she's planning on doing it this year and also doing it. Oh, did you hear the thunder?
Yeah, just me looking around. I'm like, what is that?
Oh, wow.
Live in the same neighborhood?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Actually, I think 3 of us live in the same neighborhood. Donna, where
I
do
don't
you
know where
live?
you live, Donna.
Prospect Street.
Okay.
Oh, you're not too far. Okay. But anyway, so that was just something else that would be, that she is planning on doing that in October. It would be out in the parking lot. And I know she doesn't like people to jump on her bandwagon and leverage that, but I thought it was interesting that she's at least moving forward with her planning for that event.
I feel like we have a show. We've had a show that regularly happens the same time. Does she do one in the spring too, or has she?
No, usually in the fall. I
feel like the same week we do a show or something or whatever. But yeah, okay, it sounds good to me.
So just FYI. Yep.
And I think it'll be interesting to and find out what Jonathan comes up with as we start to say what are the rules of engagement.
Right.
It's not going to change our construction project. It's not going to change our sign project. But but we want to let people in. We want to open back up.
Yep.
We'll shut down Albion for cars, and then we can just do our whole show right
on the sidewalk.
Don't laugh. That's an idea that we've talked about extensively. And if this is what it takes to make that happen,
yep,
we'll do that. Because I'll say to him, listen, we want to have a show, any kind of show. If that's what it takes, like we do a show in October or something.
Yep.
That's totally reasonable. The hardest part about that is just sending the notice to make sure the buses don't come down the street. No, seriously, that's the hardest part.
Can you do
need
it
to
in
give
the
them
back?
notice because you.
Yeah, you do. You have to because they go down Albion Street. The 137 goes down Albion. Yep.
Did you do anything in the back area?
We don't own the back.
But could we, whoever owns it, could we?
We could ask.
That's the bank lot, right?
I think it's owned actually by the Century 21 building. I don't think the bank owns that piece, but somebody owns it.
Oh, and I don't know who owns that Century 21 building anymore. Do you know who bought it?
Nope, sold.
Yep.
Somebody does though.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right.
Enjoy your
Thank you,
dinner.
Chris. And I
No
sent
worries.
that
Thank
email
you.
off to Steve and CC'd some of you on that, just so that we can find out what the story is with Anne. Okay?
Okay, and I'll see Jonathan on Monday, and we'll
That's
figure
great
that out.
timing.
Mm.
And we'll figure out
Great.
the other things.
Sounds
All right, I'll let
good.
everyone know when
Stay
we're going to do
safe.
this again. Bye.
All
Okay,
right, bye.
stay cool.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers.